And I was like, yeah, I can jump in. Okay, so exciting to be here. I'll tell you quickly who I am, Hannah Rowan. I've taught at the Moshav a few times, and it has been a big joy each time. Every time I teach, then I have a plan when I'm going to teach, and then people start asking a few questions, and it's been so curious because every time the women have enticed me to kind of go deeper and share maybe like higher teachings that I wasn't planning to share, and it has just been mind blowing. I'm so in awe of the women in this group, their level of awareness and their level of emunah. I have a little plan that I wrote out, and we'll see where you all take me, like usual. Okay. So my name is Hannah Rowan. I'm a practitioner of ancient Chinese medicine for about 20 years now. Also cranial sacral therapy, natural fertility treatments. And after making Aliyah about 8 years ago, Baruch Hashem, I added in another technique which I learned in Israel, and I've spoken on the Mashav about this technique. Sometimes I call it distance healing, and I also call it healing through meditative prayer. Very similar to what Narit was talking about kind of accessing higher levels. We access the levels of formation where things start. By the time that things come into the physical realm, that's just where they end up. I often say that it's like a canvas where, what is a piece of artwork? You have the person's inspiration, you have paint, you have brushes, and then it just ends up on the canvas. So the canvas is our body. And so that's not where things form, that's not where things start. So in order to do healing, we need ways to access these levels of formation. So I'm going to be sharing today how to do that. My basic topic today is relationship healing in quarantine, because I picture everyone has been, quarantined to their house with their immediate family members and their spouses, their roommates, and usually in regular times, you'll have interactions with people, some of them nice, some of them challenging, but you go off and you go do your own thing, you go to work, you go do your errands, and so things can be put on hold. Things can be put on hold. Sometimes I talk to a friend and she may say, oh yeah, I'm having some challenges with my husband right now, and like one of my friends, she keeps going on trips. I mean, before the quarantine, keeps going on trips, deal with that later. Well, now look what Hashem has done. He's put us all in quarantine, and he's like, hey, the buck stops here. You guys are going to do your tikkun now, okay? Whether you like it or not. And for me and my family, it's been very sweet sharing extra time or watching old family videos and laughing together, and been really sweet. But at the same time, things come up. Things come up, and I'm sure this is happening with everyone. Let's see. I had a couple of notes here. First of all, before I get into how we are going to do this healing, I did a little research with my daughter's help on the month of Iyar, and she found some really cool facts that I'm going to share. So Iyar, as other speakers have been mentioning today, is an advantageous time for healing. So I don't know if anyone has shared this detail yet or not, but what my daughter was finding with me last night is that Iyar is an acronym for Ani Hashem Rofeha, I am God your healer. You take the aleph from Ani, and then the two yuds from the name of God, and then you have Rofecha, which starts with Resh or R in English, and then so that spells Iyar. It's aleph, two yuds, and a resh. I was like, wow, that's cool. And of course, we're also in the midst of the counting of the Omer. I mean, this is like the most amazing circumstances for healing ever in the history of the world. We're in quarantine. with the people that we're supposed to do our deepest healing with, those who are closest to us. It's the month of Iyar, and it's the counting of the Omer. Okay, it's gonna happen now, right? It's gonna happen now. Um, so I wanted to throw in a couple of my mantras that I say to people all the time whenever I'm dealing with patients, friends. And first of all, what's the name of our world? In Hebrew, it's called the world of Tikkun Haolam. That's the name of this world. That's the name of this realm. That means that healing is the main event. You know, I think we get lost and we start to think, finding shidduch is the main event, having kids is the main event, having work is the main event. Um, doing our spiritual practices, doing our prayers, our mitzvot, that's the main event. These are all elements of our life. But the theme is tikkun. We are supposed to be doing repair. Like if you stop and think about it. So I have patients that they come and we make what I call the list. The list. So at this time in history, everyone is carrying so much stuff from all the Gilgulim, from all the generations, from all the lifetimes. And we don't realize what the game plan is here. So we don't really realize we're supposed to heal everything. We look for medications to control the symptoms and just keep on going through life. But we don't realize we're supposed to heal things 100%. Me'achus. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And I want to say that healing is possible on all levels. I've shared before the Moshav that I had I have been blessed to heal myself of very serious life-threatening illnesses a few times, more than once in my life. Stuff like brain tumors and cancer and things like this, like heavy stuff. I decided I didn't want to leave my children as orphans, and I had to find a way to heal each of these things. I was studying Chinese medicine already, and I thought, I need to find out if this stuff really works, if I'm going to practice it. So, in any situation, what we need to do is we need to be really connected to Hashem. We have to say, Hashem, please connect me with the resources that I need for my healing. Keep asking. I mean, you don't have to be the most sensitive, elevated person that really necessarily feels like all this kavanah when they're davening. Just anybody at any time, whatever amount of devotion they have or don't have, you can always call on Hashem 24 hours a day. And you can say, Hashem, please help me to find a solution to this problem. I'm going to tell you another secret that this is a very strong principle in Chinese medicine and in Judaism. A problem cannot exist in the world without a solution also being here. They are here together as a pair. So knowing that, whenever we have a problem, whether it's a health problem or any other kind of problem, we need to say, Hashem, please connect me to the solution. Please connect me to the solution. And if you're not getting any ideas on what it is, say, hello, I'm not getting any ideas. Can you please make it more clear? Whatever you need, you can pray anything you need. So healing is possible, and I'm going to give you some very concrete, practical ways to do that today. So first of all, let's talk about who these people are that we're in quarantine with right now. These are the people closest to us, and then the other ones that maybe they've gotten married or they don't live in our house. Baruch Hashem, we're still able to be on Zoom with them, and we're still able to talk with them on the phone. So any healing that needs to be done between us, it's still possible. So the ones who are closest to us in our lifetimes, in our current life, these are the souls that we made an agreement with before incarnating that we would help each other to do our healing. So if you have someone in your family, and obviously spouses, this happens, that mirror to you your deepest wounds, your very painful things. They, imagine, like, before we came down to earth, we were like, oh, I love you so much. I want to be the one to help you do this healing. I want to be the one to mirror that challenge to you. All right, I love you so much. Yeah, you be the one. Okay, then we come down here to earth, we get into bodies, and then it's really painful. It can be really painful. It can be really painful. But the pain, as I'm going to be explaining, when things are really painful, especially emotionally painful, that's a clue. Sometimes people tell me, they ask me, how do I know what I need to heal? How do I know what I need to heal? And how do I identify old wounds that that are still clouding my, my being? Like Narit was talking about, the wounds that we have, they're weighing on us. They're like, stains, and we need to get those stains out, so that when we daven and we do our mitzvot, even more light can come through us, because we're more clear. And another bonus is that any healing that we do affects our own family 7 generations forward and 7 generations back. So if you need any extra motivation, there you go. Let's see what's next. Yeah, and another thing, you guys might already be aware of this. So the people that are the closest to you, they are probably the souls that you've been hanging around with in several Gilgulim. So we didn't get a chance last inning. So let's go another inning and see if we can iron these things out. So that's why often the people that are closest to us are the ones where we really feel pain when issues come up. Okay, so first of all, I want to point out, how do we know what we need to heal? So whenever we feel, I kind of like to put a general word at first. When we feel distressed about something, say that you have a conversation with somebody and something was upsetting about the conversation. And, logically you're thinking, why is this bothering me? Why can't I just let it go? But you're there washing dishes or whatever, and you keep replaying the words in your mind again and again, and you can't let it go. It just won't leave you. So anytime that we feel these sort of distressing feelings, upset, insulted, fears, worries, frustration, these are clues. Okay, these are clues. Write it down. These are clues. These are clues that an old wound is coming up. It's being mirrored to us, and it's bubbling up from our being to be cleared. Why does it feel bad? Because it's yucky stuff. It's yucky stuff. It doesn't feel good. And the reason it feels bad is because we are supposed to not want to have it anymore. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to be very mature and take some practice to look at yourself and see what you are feeling and identify it. You have to kind of like step outside of yourself and going, wow, look at her, look what she's feeling. This must be an old wound. And sometimes even just realizing that, like, oh, wow, I'm attracting this. I am attracting this. We need to then pause and say, okay, I don't like what he just said. It was insulting. It wasn't nice. However, I am attracting this. Okay, that's a very important first step. Everything that happens in life, everything that happens, we are attracting it. And the people that are close to us, that are mirroring the old wound to us, they have no choice but to mirror us. I mean, when you look in the mirror and you see your eyes and you see your hair, that's what's there. That's the only thing that can be mirrored to you. So when we're in the midst of interacting with people, verbally, whatever, they they have an obligation to mirror to us whatever is inside of us. So again, we have a natural tendency as humans that we want to blame the other person. We want to get angry with the other person, and we want them to stop the repetitive behavior. Often these things repeat because the wound is saying, hello, I need to be freed. I need to be cleared. Hello, I need to be freed. I need to be cleared. So these patterns repeat, and you might say, oh, my husband always says such and such to me. My daughter always, does this. Okay, that's a clue. When we see a pattern repeating, 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 we need to stop and go, hey, this is a repeating pattern. That means it's an old wound needing to get cleared. Yay, yay, I have the opportunity to clear this once and for all. Okay, so how can we do this? I'm going to give you two different techniques. You can see which one resonates with you. These are very practical, very solid techniques that work. Okay, they work. The first one is, I will call it observation and contemplation. This method, early on in my healing, I started to sort of discover it. I was in a relationship and I kept seeing the same patterns. And I thought, I would just sit in meditation. I would think, I want to respond differently next time. I really want to respond differently next time. And in my mind, I would picture the conversation or the pattern, and I would picture how I would respond differently next time. And I would review it in my mind over and over, like as if studying for a test. And then, of course, the pattern would be mirrored to me. The interaction would happen again. And then, because I had studied and practiced so hard and I wanted it so much, the next time it came around, I responded differently. And then I would say to myself, yay, I did it. I actually did it. Okay. So part of this method is, first of all, you notice the sting of the old wound. When somebody says something, someone does something, oh, it stings. Ooh, that's a clue. That's a clue. This is something I am attracting. So what do I need to do? Okay, I am attracting this. And then you can think back, when are other times that this has happened in my life? Did this happen, when I was younger? Did this happen in other relationships? And when you give attention to things, what we are doing is we're shining light into a dark area, and then the area is no longer dark. So this observation and contemplation technique is one way to do this healing. How do you know when it's finished? Well, when you think about the incident and it no longer hurts, it no longer bothers you, then it's complete. But if you think about it and you still feel some stinging, some pain, do some more contemplation. I remember waking up one morning and going, wow, I feel like it's 50% gone. And so I worked on it more another day or two. And then when you can think of it, it doesn't bother you anymore, it's gone. Now, second, I just have a few more minutes. So the second method, this is from my method of distance healing through meditative prayer. What we do is we ask Hashem for specific frequency adjustments. Everything has a frequency. So we can actually ask in prayer for a frequency adjustment. We do the same thing as the other method where we identify the problem, we recognize it, we recognize here is what I'm attracting, and then ask yourself, how do I feel? And let the words bubble up, because when you pause and you ask yourself, how do I feel? And you let the words come up, the exact words of the wound will bubble up. For example, you know how sometimes people, when they're overwhelmed, they say, I feel like I'm drowning. I feel like I'm suffocating. I feel like something really heavy is weighing on me. These words are representing past Gilgulim, past lifetimes when those things actually did occur. Something really, really traumatic did occur. And now what's happening in this lifetime, it's less traumatic, but it's replaying that same episode, but with different circumstances. So here's how we do this healing. First of all, you call your name, like I would say Hannah, and that shows who is going to receive the healing. Hannah. And then I ask Hashem, I ask for a frequency adjustment for everything in the cosmic library related to my feelings of, or related to attracting, say, disrespectful comments from my husband, or whatever the issue is. So again, I ask Hashem, I call my name, and I hold my awareness that I'm asking this prayer for myself. Then I ask for a frequency adjustment for everything in the cosmic library related to fill in the blank, or causing me to attract, fill in the blank. Very easy. And you can also use it for, if you need an energy boost, you can say for all the factors related to my fatigue, give yourself a little energy boost. So these are two very, very practical and effective methods for everyone to do the healing that has been assigned at this time for us. Should I ask for questions later, since I know we're on a schedule? Okay, so if there's time for questions later, then you let me know.
Very nice, thank you.
Fantastic, Hannah. You gave us exactly the things we needed to hear. Anyone who has more questions, Hannah even helped me last night deep in the mind with everything I went through, and then her answers, amazing.
Really, I'm glad it helped.
You're teaching us how we can help ourselves, and
exactly.
must believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
Believe in ourselves, and the belief in the healing of Hashem. Okay,
Yeah.
now we have to go to Emuna, because Emuna is taking care of